Welcome everyone to this presentation on studying social work at Ulster on the wonderful Magee campus here in the city of Derry, Londonderry, legendary. My name's Marie McElroy and I am currently the course director of the 3-year undergraduate programme. In the course of this presentation, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what it's like to study social work at Ulster University. I'm also going to try and dispel some of the myths around applying for social work at Ulster University, and I hope that by the end of this presentation you will be enlightened, encouraged and enthusiastic to pursue your dreams of a career in social work by making social work at Ulster your first choice. So where better to come to study social work than here on the beautiful Magee campus in the city of Derry, located right in the northwest. Derry, Londonderry, legendary. But the one thing I can tell you is that Derry City and the Magee campus is such a wonderful, warm and homely place to study. The campus is situated in the heart of the city. You can walk everywhere around the city. You don't really need to get taxis if you're going on a night out, if you're going shopping. It's got a really, really vibrant nightlife. There are loads of different cultural venues. There are city festivals like the Halloween Festival, which is the biggest festival in Europe. There's the Jazz Festival. There's the Wall City Festival. There's the Clipper Festival. There's just so many festivals here in the city of Derry, and that makes it such a really exciting and fun place to live, particularly if you are a student who's going to university for the first time in your family, or if it's your first time ever to move away from home. Magee campus also has the halls of residence, which are probably less than a 5-minute walk away from the actual campus, so everything is well within your reach. And also, most notably, and this is really important if you're a student and you're living away from home, is that actually the city is one of the most affordable places to live in the UK, and that also applies to the halls of residence in our Duncragan student village. So, as well as giving you an overview of what it might be like to study on the Magee campus and to study in this wonderful city of ours, I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the degree today, the degree in social work. So some of the things that I'm going to be talking about will give you a little bit of insight to some of the modules and some of the broader subject areas that you'll be taught as a social work student at Ulster. I'll give you a little bit of insight as to how you might be taught and how we will support you. You'll get some student experience feedback. And what's really important is we'll talk about the placements and the job opportunities that will arise once you graduate from the degree in social work at Ulster. And currently there are plenty of jobs out there because there is an actual shortage and if not a crisis in the workforce. One of the most important pieces of information that students like to know and also that parents like to know is about the fees and how much the course is going to cost me. Well, for social work, the current fees are £4,630 per year. That applies if you are from the north of Ireland and if you are from the Republic of Ireland, and for all other fees you should refer to the detailed information on the subject website, because there's variation of fees depending on where in the UK you are currently resident, or whether you are an EU student or not, or whether you are an international student. But for most of you, it will be £4,630 if you are currently living in the north of Ireland or you're living in the Republic of Ireland. Now, what's really good about social work is that the Department of Health also has an incentive scheme. And this incentive scheme means that every social work student who's domiciled in the north of Ireland receives a payment of £4,000 per year from the Department of Health, plus an additional £500 in expenses. Now, that payment usually comes in 2 instalments and it is related to your attendance. So your attendance is always monitored closely by the Department of Health. So £4,000 a year paid in 2 instalments plus £500 expenses, and when you're on placement you will also enjoy the benefit of travel expenses towards the cost of your fuel and running your car whenever you are out on social work placement. So the current A-level entrance requirements to study social work at Ulster are 3 Bs. That's B, B, B. There's no specific A-level subject requirements. You don't necessarily have to do an A-level in health and social care, for example. As long as you are coming with 3 Bs in any subject areas, you will meet the A-level entrance requirements. In addition to that, all applicants must have GCSE Maths and English Language at a grade C or above, or if you don't have GCSE Maths and English Language, you can also present an equivalent qualification, for example, Essential Skills Level 2 in both English Language and application of number. Of course, we also welcome applications from Leaving Certificate students in the Republic of Ireland. We accept applications from students in Scotland, or for students doing HNC, HND, access programs, foundation degrees, and of course international programs. We accept a range of qualifications from BTEC, BTEC Extended Diploma, National Diploma and Extended Certificate in conjunction with A-levels. But the best advice that I could give to you is that for any queries at all relating to your qualifications, contact admissions, M for mother, G for garden at ulster.ac.uk. You'll see the address is here on the slide. That's admissions, M for mother, G for garden at ulster.ac.uk. On successful completion of your UCAS application and your personal statement, we will then invite you to undertake a suitability interview for social work training. That interview will be looking at your motivation for training, your knowledge around social work and your suitability for training. And finally, all applicants must check that you're suitable to be registered as a social work student with the Northern Ireland Social Care Council. So you can check your suitability by going to their website, which is www.nisc.info, and again you can see that website address here on the slide. Frequently, if you're successful in obtaining a place to study social work at Magee, you will hear myself, my academic colleagues, your lecturers and tutors talk about the importance of developing your knowledge, your skills and your values. So the way that we actually have structured the degree is that first year gives you a really good basis of theoretical concepts, and you'll study things like introduction to social work practice, you'll study things like sociology and psychology, you'll study preparation for practice learning, which is about skills development, and all of these are really, really important in helping you to be sufficiently well prepared to progress to your first placement, which starts in August of year 2. So year 1 is really about grounding down, it's about giving you a real strong theoretical base before you progress to year 2. And in year 2, you will undertake your first placement, which is 85 days long. You'll be able to apply all of that theory that you learned in year 1, and you will also develop the skills of critical analysis and critical reflection. And in final year, you will complete your second placement, which is 100 days. And in that final year placement, you will be required to build on the knowledge, the skills and the values that you have developed from year 1 into year 2. We will be looking for a higher degree of analysis from all of our social work students in final year, and particularly on placement we have a very, very strong emphasis on the assessment and the management of risk. Right across the 3 years of the degree, you will have the opportunity to meet service users and experts by experience who have used social work services from across a range of different areas, or who have been affected by trauma, who have been affected by mental ill health, or affected by addiction. And this is one of the aspects of the social work degree that our students absolutely love, because it really does give you excellent, in-depth, relatable experience to help you before you embark on your first placement. So how then are you going to be taught as a social work student at Ulster? Well, generally all modules are delivered by whole class lectures. So that would be everybody in your class, which is normally in and around 60 people in first year, coming in to large lecture halls. In first year, you will have approximately 3.5 days a week in first semester and 3 days a week in second semester. Normally you'll have 4 modules in first semester and 3 modules in second semester. So every lecture is 2 hours long, and then every lecture also has a supportive seminar group. And the seminar groups are wonderful because they're much smaller in size, and they're a real opportunity for you to engage with your lecturer in smaller groups to look at some of the finer detail that was maybe taught in the previous day or the previous morning's lecture. So typically every week you have 3 2-hour lectures followed by 3 1-hour seminars. Now that's not to say that there won't be times, because there will, when you will be required to come into uni on days when you're not normally timetabled. And an example of that might be, you might, for example, be timetabled on a Monday morning but not on a Monday afternoon, but you may well have to come in for tutorials on that day, or you may have to come in to do some administrative work in advance of placement. That might be a police check, that might be completing indemnity, it might be completing placement profiles. So flexibility is absolutely critical, because even though you might not be in 5 days a week, it is a full-time course, and importantly, it is a professional course. You'll be well supported by a personal tutor. Every student has their own individual personal tutor, and they will provide you with scheduled individual tutorials, and they will also provide you with group tutorials. You will also have a very active online environment that you can work in, which is called Blackboard or Blackboard Collaborate. We sometimes deliver our teaching and learning online, as we have done, for example, through COVID, but we are back full on face-to-face on the Magee campus, much to our delight and indeed much to our students' delight. There's a wealth of library resources that you can find online, and we have a wonderful subject librarian on the Magee campus who's always more than happy to support new students. Some of the work you'll undertake will be project work, some of it will be group work, some of it will be teamwork. We also have master classes, and those are generally open to all students from first year right through to final year. So there's loads of variation in how you will be taught, when you will be taught. You'll be very well supported by your academic tutors, by your personal tutors. You will also have a year tutor, and then of course you'll also have myself as the course director. So one of the things that we actually pride ourselves on as a social work team here on the Magee campus is the relationships that we have with our students. We're really well engaged with the students. We work very closely with the students, with the student representatives, to receive your feedback, to look at how we might improve things. We really encourage students to get actively involved in our Stand Up for Social Work Society, in our civic engagement in and around the city and the Northwest. And one of the reasons for this is because really good social work practice is about building relationships. So it makes sense for us as a social work team to model that to you, our students, the importance of building relationships, nurturing those relationships and maintaining those relationships. And because of that, we always have really positive feedback from our students. So typically our students will tell us how much they felt supported. They'll tell us about how much they've been enjoying the course. They'll talk about how helpful the staff have been for them, and how having supportive staff around them really has made the learning experience so much more meaningful for them. And it's also helped to, alleviate stress, particularly at the times when they're coming to submit assignments or when it's coming up to final exams on the final placement, most students tell us that the friends they made studying social work at Magee have become the friends for life. And we hope that if you're coming to study at Magee too, that also will be your experience. So placement is such an important part of the degree at social work, and it's undoubtedly the part of the degree that social work students absolutely love. So you'll have 2 placements to complete. One will be in your second year, which runs usually from August to December. And the third one is your final placement, which comes in third year, and it runs normally from January until the end of May. So the first one is for 85 days, and the second one is for 100 days, and those placements are normally contrasting placements. So for example, if you did an adult placement first time around, then you would be required to do a family and childcare placement second time round. At the very least, every single social work student in the north of Ireland, be it at Ulster or be it at Queen's or be it at our partner colleges, Belfast Metropolitan or Southwest College, must complete at least one family and childcare placement. And your placements can take place in a range of settings across the province. You do need to be flexible. We do try and place you within an hour of your home address, but it can be anywhere in Northern Ireland, and it is dependent on the placements that are available. You don't have to find your own placement. We find that for you, and we have a specialist director of practice learning within our social work team to support you through that really exciting period on the degree. Sometimes we're frequently asked, what's the difference between social work qualification at Ulster and the social work qualification at Queen's University? There's absolutely no difference whatsoever. All social workers trained in Northern Ireland come out with exactly the same qualification. Admission to the degree, recruitment to the degree, placements on the degree are all regionally managed, so we work really closely together. If you're looking to study at Ulster, you can apply to come on our 3-year full-time course at Magee, and or you can apply to do the first 2 years of your degree at Belfast Metropolitan College or Southwest College on their Dungannon campus, and then you transfer into us at Magee for your final year. Alternatively, if you have a relevant degree, for example in law or psychology or education or sociology, you can apply to come onto our 2-year full-time programme, but that is not available for A-level students. This slide is actually a really important slide from my point of view as the course director. There's some myths, I think, about applying to social work, and one of the myths that we would like to take the opportunity to dispel is that my teachers say I can't get into social work straight from school, or my friends say that social work is a job, it's just for girls. Well, the first thing is we take students straight from school. We are absolutely delighted to take students straight from school, because all of your experiences, whether it's in your part-time jobs, whether it's in your family lives, whether it's in your personal lives, or if you've got relevant health and social care experience, are all relevant to us and they are of interest to us. But you can get in straight from school. We do take students straight from school, and we're looking forward to taking more students straight from school. In terms of social work is just for girls, don't listen to your friends. For some reason, women are much more likely to apply for social work than men. That's it. There's nothing else. Social work is about your ability to form relationships and human connections regardless of your gender. It's an excellent career. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, it can be stressful, but it is probably one of the most rewarding professions that you could find yourself in. And like I've said earlier on, there are absolutely no shortage of jobs currently in the sector. There are so many opportunities for you if you want to train as a social worker. Most people, when they think about social work, they think about children, they think about families, they think about child protection. And whilst that is a big part of what social workers do, there are other teams and other services, for example, mental health, child and adolescent mental health, addictions. We work in learning disability teams, physical disability teams. We work with older people who have dementia. We work in the hospitals, the probation service, the youth justice agency. We work with homeless people. We work with agencies and organisations that support women experiencing domestic abuse. So there's such a wide range of opportunities for you out there. It's not limited, it's very, very broad, and increasingly as services develop, so too do the types of jobs. So thank you very much for joining me on this presentation. In this final slides, we have summarised some of the key points that we've sought to make during our presentation. So a summary of how you will be taught, what you will be taught, how you will be assessed, a little bit about the career opportunities that are available to you as social work students on graduation, and a little bit about the involvement of service users in our teaching and delivery of the social work degree. If you want to find out a little bit more about our graduates, our current students, and the involvement of service users, you can click on these two links, which will take you to very short but very snappy and indeed very meaningful videos that we hope will help to inform your decision to apply to study Ulster. I started off by welcoming you all to this legendary part of the world. And indeed, I would like to end by encouraging you all to apply to this legendary degree in social work in the legendary city itself. If you've any further information, please do get in contact with us. study@ulster.ac.uk, make admissions mg@ulster.ac.uk, and you can contact me, m.mcelroy@ulster.ac.uk. Thank you, and we look forward to receiving your UCAS application.